Welcome back. Now let's take a look at some sports. Here's Charles Aruka.
This is the ultimate redefined for men.
Thanks, Joma. Welcome to Sports News. St. Jude's Secondary School, Bayelsa, and Government Boys Secondary School, Kaduna, are the winners of this year's Milo Basketball Championships. In the final game, the girls from Bayelsa defeated Idia College from Edo, while the boys from Kaduna beat St. Peter's College. Our sports correspondent, Austin Okon-Akpan, has the report.
Proceedings kicked off for the girls' final game between Edo and Bayelsa State. It was a tight contest, and the 18-15 scoreline confirms it. The boys' final was between St. Peter's College, Ida, Kogi State, and Government Secondary School from Kaduna. It was a fierce encounter. Kogi led in the first and second quarter, but in the third, the boys from Kaduna started a comeback fight. The coaches gave all the motivational talk, and in the end, it was just a point that gave victory to the resilient guys from Kaduna. Nestle's Femi Akintola is excited that the competition is getting better and the players agree.
We are proud of what we have seen. It's been a highly competitive event and it's beautiful. We like it.
The love of basketball is not that much, but after this one, I'm sure that there will be more of us who come next year.
The girls from Bayelsa were the first to mount the podium to receive the Winners' Award. And now, let's rise for the champions of the Milo Basketball Championship. The boys from Government Secondary School Kaduna came here, they saw and conquered.
A deserved draw against pre-tournament favorites Sweden. The Falcons came back twice to level up in the keenly contested encounter. The Swedes got 2 first-half goals, but the African champions fought back with goals from Ngozi Okobi and Azizat Oshoala. Sweden went ahead again in the 64th minute through Linda Sembrant, but Francisco Odega secured a point for coach Edwin Okon's team with an equalizer in the 87th minute. And that's it on Sports News. It's back to Ijoma with the rest of the news at 10.
This is the ultimate redefined for men.
The G7 summit has ended meetings in Germany with U.S. President Barack Obama announcing that the U.S. does not have a complete strategy for helping Iraq fight Islamic State and regain lost territories. However, President Obama says the U.S. defense is reviewing ways to train and equip Iraqi forces to fight the militants on the ground, while the coalition forces keep up airstrikes on major targets. Let's move over to entertainment news now. An award-winning singer, Davido, pushes back the release of his anticipated album. Here's Mayowa Ogundele with the details.
Well, thank you very much. Here are your trending entertainment stories. Multiple award-winning Nigerian hip-hop star Davido has finally bagged a bachelor's degree. The singer, who dropped out of college in the United States of America, has finally graduated in music from a Nigerian university. Meanwhile, his sophomore album, initially scheduled for release today, has been pushed back by the singer indefinitely. Speaking of a new album, Triple MG's lead act, Inyanya, has said his much-awaited album will be a combination of hip-hop, R&B, reggae, and other genres of music. The singer, who debuted as an R&B singer with Love Truly, appears to be retracing his steps gradually back to R&B, revealed that his third studio album will be a potpourri of the various types of genres.
I want you to know you're my honey, the only one way to make me go crazy.
And Nollywood stars, including Kunle Afolayan, Tunde Kelani, O.C. Ukeje, and many others, represented the industry in faraway Paris for the Nollywood Week. The event, which witnessed the screening of top Nigerian films, is geared at sourcing a new market for Nollywood films. Nollywood actress and producer Iniedo is playing the role of a health worker in a new advocacy movie targeted against rape. The project is part of an advocacy campaign against rape and creation of awareness for the protection of the girl child. She's joined by fellow Nollywood actress and producer Omoni Oboli in the forthcoming movie titled Silent Scream. Rapper Rugged Man has made his acting debut in a soon-to-be-released Mnet movie. He's gone ahead to record one of the soundtracks to be used in the movie. The track, titled My Friend and featuring his prodigy Embryo, was produced by Soldier Beats, is a soundtrack for the movie. The movie, titled When You Die, stars Rugged Man along with Ricardo Agbo. Pop sensation Yemi Alade is now piecing together the visuals of a song, Pose. The singer shared pictures of the action behind the scenes. Tinsel star Tomi Odunsi, who hosted an exclusive music listening party recently, has officially released a new single titled Wanna Know. The track was produced by Sizzle Pro. Suspect on the beat. Capitol Hill Records artist Ilbliss Chidinma, The Suspect, and new signees Fefe and Miss Keys all teamed up on this joint titled Finally, Adekunle.
Finally, suddenly, finally, everything bend belly, finally.
The video was shot by Clarence Peters and the track was produced by The Suspect. Well, that's it on Entertainment News. Thank you so much for watching. Let's head back to the news.
Well, thanks a lot, Maiwa. Now, let's take another look at what transpired at the G7 summit, which ended meetings in Germany today, where U.S. President Barack Obama announced that the U.S. does not have a complete strategy for helping Iraq fight ISIS and regain lost territories.
As the G7 entered its second and final day, the working session of outreach meeting begins for its members and African leaders. The group of 7 nations welcomed their counterparts from Africa and Arab countries at this year's summit meeting in the Bavarian Alps. Climate change topped the agenda for today's session. The leaders also set out to discuss combating epidemics and other health issues. The fight against terrorism, from Boko Haram to Islamic State and African development, were highlighted. Leaders of Britain, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the United States and the European Union dwelled on the Islamist militant threats from groups such as the Islamic State and Boko Haram.
Well, HMS Bulwark, the Royal Navy flagship, is in the Mediterranean because we want to save lives. Britain is a country that doesn't walk on by. We're a country with a conscience, and that's right. But we also need to do more to stop these people leaving their countries in the first place. That's what we're using our aid budget for. That's what we'll be talking about here at the G7, about how we try and put a Libyan government together. We need to deal with the causes of this migration, not simply with its consequences.
African and Middle East leaders, including Nigeria, Senegal, Tunisia, Iraq, joined in the summit as part of an outreach group of non-G7 countries. President of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, joined other invited world leaders to present Nigeria's challenges before the G7 leaders as a way of repositioning the country's dwindling economy, tackle corruption, and increase direct investment. Earlier on yesterday, the first day of the summit, they enjoyed a dinner in Munich, attended by the United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, other members, and some African leaders. President Obama kept his counsel on the climate issue when leaders presented a united front in fighting Russia over the Ukraine conflict and discussed the global economy. Bilateral meetings with the G7 leaders have started with United States President Barack Obama meeting with his French counterpart Francois Hollande. German Chancellor Angela Merkel urged G7 leaders to commit to tough goals to cut greenhouse gases at the summit. Hollande, who will host the United Nations Summit on fighting climate change at the end of this year, is also seeking an ambitious commitment from the G7 to ending their dependence on fossil fuels by mid-century. He creates a financial commitment to aid poorer countries to transform their energy sectors so they can reduce carbon emissions. German Chancellor Merkel, once dubbed the climate chancellor, hopes to revitalize her green credentials by getting the G7 industrial nations to agree specific emission goals ahead of a larger year-end United Nations climate meeting in Paris. International Monetary Fund Managing Director Christine Lagarde was among the participants at the meeting, as were United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon and World Bank President Jim Young Kim. The closed-door discussions were led by this year's G7 host, German Chancellor Angela Merkel.
And the main news again. Efforts to resolve disputes between two groups of lawmakers-elect in the APC have hit a brick wall as supporters of Senator Saraki and Dogara failed to appear at peace meeting. Well, that's the news at 10 tonight. Thanks so much for staying with us. I'm Ike Omanfo Nyato. Do have a good night.